Have you ever noticed how the food you eat can change the way your body feels, not just today, but days later? Less stiffness, better energy, and clear thinking. That's what anti-inflammatory cooking is all about. And today, we're bringing it straight into your kitchen. Hi, and welcome to TMJ Unlocked. I'm Dr. Gunnarsson, and we're here today cooking anti-inflammatory foods that use local ingredients and help your body feel nice and healthy. It's practical, it's flavorful, and most of all, like I was saying, made with local ingredients, which is really great. I'm here with Sarah and Mindy, and we have a special guest, Sarah.
Yeah, today we'd like to introduce Ty Ashton. He is with Ashton's Burger Barn. So Ty, just a couple of questions. How did you get started in the meat industry?
Yeah, so we were raised on a farm and ranch in Fillmore, Utah. And during the winter time, it got real slow, and so we decided to start processing wild game and a few beef here and there. And there was a great need in that county, and so we started growing our business and started processing a lot of beef. And then we decided to move on to Delta, where we also have a processing facility and a restaurant. And then now we just opened up a restaurant and another butcher shop in Salem.
So me and Ty have known each other for quite a while. He hired me despite, he probably shouldn't have hired me to manage his restaurant, but
She's great.
We worked together for quite a long time. And working there, I found that eating locally raised beef that is properly sourced is very important to your diet. So you tell us a little bit about the farmers in Miller County and where we get the beef from?
Yeah. So when you're buying beef from us, you're not just supporting my business, you're supporting the local farmers and ranchers also, which is great for the community, but also just great quality meat is great for recipes like what we're doing today.
So let's tell everyone about the Fillmore shop and where you got started.
Yeah, so our facility there, it's a USDA inspected plant where we process for a lot of locals, but also all over Utah. We also process wild game, actually domestic elk. We're the only place in Utah that can process domestic elk. We have a special inspection that we have to do with them, but that meat is also great for lean. It has lean cuts in it, and it's great for recipes like what we're doing.
Elk burgers are great too.
Elk burgers are awesome.
They are awesome. I can say that. And your brothers and sisters are also involved, right?
Yep. Yeah, older brother and older sister, they're involved in Fillmore. And my dad is also very highly involved.
His parents are great. It was pretty awesome working for a butcher shop and seeing where it started and where it's ended up now. So let's get started cooking today.
That's great. We're excited to have him here with us today. I was noticing, I keep looking at the nice cuts of meat over here. They're already making me hungry, even though they haven't been cooked yet, because they look great. So before we start cooking, let's talk a little about anti-inflammatory diet. We're not talking about things that you're going to have to really restrict or you're never going to be able to eat again, and we're going on this really strict diet. I do get patients who come in the office and the only thing they're doing is smoothies because they have no idea what to cook. And so we put together these podcasts to give some recipes that work with the anti-inflammatory diet with what we teach you when we're treating your jaw and your sleep. So it talks about using high quality foods, quality protein, whole foods, using oils that are anti-inflammatory oils, and especially reducing our ultra-processed foods. It seems like everything we have today in the supermarkets that we go and buy are ultra-processed. And we like that because it's convenient and throwing together a meal really fast. But eating healthier, like I said at the beginning, it's going to make you feel better. And over the long term and using these ingredients, it really doesn't take all that much longer to really cook a really good and healthy meal. Today's recipe, they were chosen because they fit into real life. They're practical. They're something you could do on a weekend meal, or you can meal prep and put them all together. So let's get started with our first recipe.
Okay, I'm excited.
So our first recipe is spicy salmon bowls, and we're going to start first by preheating the oven to 350 degrees. All right, we get that all warming up, and in the meantime, we'll start prepping the salmon, getting it ready to cook, and the sauces that will go with it.
So we are making sauce for the spicy salmon. We are going to start out with some olive oil, and Ty is going to mince up some garlic. So we're going to add some soy sauce into this with the oil. We like to use the low sodium soy sauce. We'll add that in. And then we're going to add some honey and some lime.
It smells good.
Yeah, it smells amazing.
We've lined a baking sheet with tin foil, and here we have our cuts of salmon. They look beautiful. That's wonderful. And we have our sauce that we just that Sarah and Ty made up for us. So I'm going to take And we're going to just slowly toss this in this here, get it nicely coated, and then we're going to put it on the baking sheet. Once we've got these all on the baking sheet, we are then going to put them in the oven to bake for about 20 to 25 minutes. All right, that's in there for about 20, 25 minutes. So we're going to make the brown rice. You need about 4 servings worth of brown rice. There's 4 cups. So we're going to do 3 cups of brown rice to 3 cups of water here and let that cook so we can serve that with our salmon.
The recipe calls for spicy mayo, but to make it a little bit more anti-inflammatory, we're going to use some yogurt. And with that yogurt, we are going to add in sriracha and toasted sesame oil. And then we're going to add in 2 teaspoons of toasted sesame oil. And we'll whisk that together and have the sauce ready. In the meantime, we are also going to pickle some cucumbers. So to pickle the cucumbers, we are going to start with some rice vinegar. We're going to do a 1/2 cup. And you want to put this in a microwave-proof bowl because we are going to put it in the microwave. And to that, we are going to add... We're going to use allulose instead of sugar because allulose is better for you, does not spike the blood sugar as much. We're going to do a tablespoon of sugar. And then, Ty, if you want to add the salt, we're going to do a teaspoon of kosher salt. We'll whisk that together really quick, and then Ty is going to slice up the cucumbers. And then while he's doing that, I'm going to put this in the microwave for 2 minutes. All right, so to this, after you get it out of the microwave, we are going to add some more sesame oil. We are going to do 2 teaspoons. And then Ty will add in the cucumbers, and we will get those all stirred in there. All right, we'll set those aside and let those pickle while we get everything else ready.
All right, this recipe calls for a few more additional ingredients. We're going to add some carrots to the pickling cucumbers, and we're going to keep some reserved. We'll also be adding a thinly sliced avocado to our salmon and 1/2 of a red onion.
For either of these dishes that we made today, you can either use brown rice or you can use quinoa. Either one are really a healthy choice in using for the base for your bowl. We went ahead and we're using the brown rice to go with our salmon. I'm just going to dish up a little bit of brown rice here in the bottom. These are called bowls, so eat them in a bowl. It's really good. We're going to put that salmon right there. So we're going to add a little bit of this spicy mayo, which we substituted with plain yogurt on top. We're going to put a little bit of these pickled. These are so good. We've been taste testing these the whole time this is sitting here. A couple pieces of avocado here on the side, a little bit of fresh carrot here to go with that, and then maybe a little bit of onion. I'm not a real onion fan. And then to garnish the top, if you'd like to have a little bit of cilantro, I am not a fan of cilantro, but the recipe calls for cilantro. So I'm just going to break off a little sprig carrot, and typically you would tear that off into little pieces onto the top of your dish to add a little bit of that cilantro flavor. And there you have your salmon bowl.
When you use good ingredients, you don't need to overdo anything. Simple ingredients, thoughtful cooking, that's it.
And food isn't about restricting.
It's about connecting, and to your body, to your community, to the people around you, and celebrating. And we like to especially thank Ty for being here today. Please check out his butcher shop locally in Salem and in Delta, and the butcher shop in Fillmore, Utah. You have them in 3 places.
We do, yeah.
Perfect, perfect. So quite convenient. Try one recipe this week out of our recipes. We'd love to see how yours turn out, and share this episode with friends and family. We're going to be putting together a cookbook recipe for our website, so you should be able to go in and find these recipes at some point when we finally get it all together. And that will really help with your anti-inflammatory diet. So thank you for joining us, and look for us next time on TMJ Unlocked.